Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider here on the EKN Radio Network, episode number 6. My name is Rob Howden, joined today by an industry member who's probably, I think, has been in the sport significantly, actually, longer than I have, actually. Andy Seesemann from FTK Promotions and Full Throttle Karting. We're going to spend this episode of the Industry Insider talking about the Challenge of the Americas. Obviously, that program making a major evolution into 2018, and it was actually a successful one as well, moving from the Rotax package to the Rock Cup program, and to be able to get out of the gate as they did. I think that Andy will tell you as we kind of review a little bit of how things happened in 2018, how that debut went. All in all, I think an overwhelming success. Now, first off, Andy, welcome to the Industry Insider. Great to have you back on. We had you before the season started. I think it's just right that we bring you back on to kind of review, even though we're 2 months down the line, review what we saw with the Challenge of the Americas.
No, yeah, absolutely, Rob. Thanks very much for having me. And you're right. We kind of talked about doing this review a little bit ago, but life is busy for all of us between.
It is.
As soon as the challenge ends, it's like Easter, Mother's Day, graduation, Father's Day this weekend, right? We got 4th of July coming up. I mean, I figure we better get this done now, or we may not be able to talk until October.
Well, you know what? It's late enough that we can still review last year,
right,
and we can still talk about 2019, and it's not that far off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah,
it's true.
Exactly.
Isn't it nuts? Yeah, because we're really, 7 months away probably from the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I didn't even have to worry about getting dates until, October, November, very first couple of years. Oh, yeah, I'd come back after my birthday in September, go, okay, time to get dates. Now I've already requested dates for next year for at least one track.
Well, a lot of, and that's something I think is part of the sport now. There's obviously I don't want to say a battle for dates, but there's so much racing going on in the off season. I had
off
season. I was going to go there. You can't even call it an off season anymore. We're not able to have the old KMI trade show that we used to have, Card Expo, which was such a great event to get everybody together at. That wasn't a racing event.
Exactly.
We can't have that because as we all know, from the very first week of January all the way through to almost the end of the year, there's a race somewhere, regional or national level race. And you're right, you're grabbing dates and getting things locked in. That said, we'll come around to that afterwards. Let's talk about how things went in 2018. Obviously the writing was on the wall in 2017. Rotax, which is working hard to try to make a bit of a comeback here in 2018, now midway through the season. You decided, hey, you know what? I got to do something different. Rotax is essentially disappearing on the West Coast, where you draw your drivers from for the Challenge of the Americas, which to obviously fill people in that maybe haven't heard of it or have not run the challenge. It's the premier West Coast, you say off-season race, but I call it spring training to a certain extent, right? It's that great winter series.
Typical FTK. Phone's ringing. Hold on 1 second.
Do it.
You keep talking. I'll be back in 1 second.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you're a kart shop owner and you try to tape, or I say tape because I'm too old, record a podcast here on the EKN Radio Network, because when you're a one-man show with a kart shop and the phone rings, you make sure you pick it up. So Andy will come back and join us here in a couple of seconds. I love it. Again, talking a lot about the Challenge of the Americas, which is that winter series where everybody goes to. The people in Canada who want to get out of the snow, people that just want to get racing again, the opportunity to kind of get back behind the wheel at a 3-race series, which has been around for 11 years now, Andy, I think?
Correct. Yeah, we started in 08, and so we just had our 11th iteration.
So, again, now that you've taken care of your phone call, hopefully made some money.
Yeah, it was a 12 card order. They're coming by this afternoon to pick them up. So.
Perfect. Cash up front, I hope.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Hey, so you make a big change for 2018. You decided to go Rock Cup, an engine package that has been around for a long time. Of course, they have their Rock Cup International Final in Italy. It's a major series over there. There's been some rock stuff over here as well, but you make a big move. Talk a bit first now as we get ready to jump in and discuss how things went. What are your thoughts on making that move? Was it the right decision? Are you happy with where you are right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, like all of us, everything has a life cycle. And I think for whatever reason, the previous program had come to the end of its life cycle. We could go on and on, but we don't need to rehash that stuff.
That's a different show.
Yeah, for sure. It's a different, like, it's a mini series. It's like Roots. But for sure, I mean, everything kind of has a life cycle, and the writing was on the wall for a year or two, and we were kind of holding it together, and in the end, I mean, it just kind of went away, and we had to do something. I mean, this is how I make my living. It's how I feed my family. So I had to kind of regroup and look at what else is out there. And obviously, you know, the IME program does very well. It has its own roots and its own program. So, you know me, I've always been on the other side of that. So, Rock approached me a couple years ago, and the timing wasn't right. And then as this all started falling, you know, last fall and winter earlier this year, we started to talk, and obviously the timing was much better, and we made the move. I mean, it's been, you know, 15, 16 months, I guess, since I made the official announcement and the official change, and you know, by all means, it's been a positive change for sure.
Well, you know, I think one of the things that we always talked about was the fact that you were changing the engine format. The product itself overall didn't change. You know, it was still the same venues. It was still the same staff that you bring to the track. It was still the same culture, the same ideology, the same atmosphere. You know, David Cole and I were out there covering it for EKN. We were doing the live broadcast. For the most part, it was just different engines. You know, a lot of guys just roll in with a team anyways and rent their package through the pro. It could have been anything. It could have been IAME. It could have been Rock. It could have been Moturi. It could have been Yamaha. It could have been Briggs. Whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, Challenging Americas is Challenging Americas. I mean, look this past weekend, right? You had Quincy in the park, right? I mean, the last time it ran, it was a 100cc open, and you know, I mean, the class structure was nowhere the same, but it's still Quincy in the park.
True enough, and they had a fantastic event, which is big. Now, okay, so you make the change. You know, we get to the opening round at Phoenix, and I think you obviously took a deep breath. Essentially, you didn't grow, you didn't fall. You had the same numbers as you capped the season off last year. It was just that solid transition to, you know what, we're here. We've got great customers. We got awesome drivers. The racing was fantastic. We're going steam ahead. Now we start moving back forward.
No, absolutely. I mean, you and I talked, you know, a year ago. As time certainly flies, you know, and then we talked again last fall, and we talked about that number, right? Challenge started with 75 in 2008, and my goal was if I just start back with 75, I know how to grow it from 75 up to like 140 where it was in its peak. So, you know, I already have that experience under my belt. So if I could just start again with 75, I mean, we ended the last Rotex version of the challenge with 65 drivers, so 75 would have actually been growth. And to show up in Phoenix with 85 drivers, I was happily surprised for sure. That was internal win. I was high fiving myself. Absolutely.
I bet. When you look back at the season, are there any highlights, lowlights? Is there anything that you think, hey, you know what, this is something I'm going to really work on to fix? Or wow, I was really surprised or happy with how this went.
Yeah, I mean, from certain highlights. I mean, look. You know how promoters think. The first highlight is we had not one red flag, not one ambulance run. That's always. I mean, that's how we all judge ourselves at the end of the day, regardless of what the bank account says. If that ambulance sits there and nobody gets hurt, man, that's a successful event. And that was the same for all three. We didn't have an ambulance run at any venue the whole year. So I mean, that's a huge relief and a huge win for me for sure. Two, you know, we always talk about. The last year, you know, winter of 18 is last year, but was going to be a strange year because most series actually shrink as the year goes on. I knew it was going to stay the same or grow, and we did the same, right? We went 85, 91, 86. So, I mean, the numbers stayed the same. But for me, the huge thing is because we run LO206 along with Rock, the Rock numbers actually, as the numbers stayed virtually the same, the Rock numbers increased by 25%. Over the course of the series, so the Rock participation grew in a big significant percentage, which was great. You there?
Yep.
Okay. I found this on the back for the
This
Rock
is what
participants.
happens.
You're a fantastic interview, Seesemann. This is
good. I know. I'm amazing, right? Well, I'm not great with technology, so Siri thinks I keep asking her questions.
I'm sorry. This is classic. All right.
But so the bottom line is we grew, we're actually bigger than we were in 2017, did a complete rehaul of the engine package, and within the confines of the series, the ROK participation grew. So all that, huge positive for me.
So we'll talk about the future in a bit. Now, the other big positive I think at any time is, and I love what the program does, and that's we've talked when it was Rotax, whether it's ROK, whatever it may be, but sending your championship drivers, your champions, to a major event, it's that big calling card. That's that big draw for a lot of drivers. You've got 6 drivers heading to the ROK Cup International Final in, I believe is it October or November this year? I think it's October.
It's always October. It's second week of October, like the 9th through 13th.
Tremendous race. I got a chance to announce it a couple of times. You were there last year, I believe, for the first time. You said it's just such a tremendous race at South Garda. And you're sending 6 pretty badass drivers over there to represent the challenge, which I think is going to be very cool.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously there's no micro ROK class at the international final, so we're sending 6 or 7 champions. Our micro ROK champion did get a ticket to go to the ROK the Rio event, so he still won, a significant prize. But I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, from mini ROK, a kid like Chase Gardner, who is an up and coming mini driver. We see him at several events across the country. Putting in either a podium or a top 10 finish at everywhere he's at. I mean, Junior Ugo Ugochukwu, we don't need to even. I mean, he's all over the world. I mean, he's top quality. And then then we got a lot of our West Coast drivers, right? Jim McKinney Sr., who's always been a name that you never really saw outside of Phoenix, right? Every once in a while you'd see him somewhere else. He's done the challenge plenty of years, but everybody knew him as a Phoenix driver. Well, He had a great weekend in Phoenix, and then just kept putting in solid results and won the championship based on that, right?
Exactly.
Masters, Eric Jackson. I mean, they're one of the best Masters drivers in the country.
Agreed.
Masters shifter. That's Calvin Chen won that, but unfortunately, Calvin cannot go to the ROK World, so we gave the prize to second place, which is Nick Firestone.
Nice.
So I mean, Nick, high quality Masters shifters driver, been around karting forever and ever and ever and ever. He's going to represent well, and then finally, Alex Keys won senior shifter. So, I mean, Alex with his GRC stuff and everything else. I mean, that's a good lineup of drivers to take to Italy for sure.
Agreed. You know what? And you get obviously look at the mini and the junior categories. So you got Chase, who does so much racing that he's really developing quickly. He's just getting better and better. I was at the race in Texas, and he got a couple podiums there. This is a great young mini driver. Ugo's going to do a fantastic job. And I love the fact that Jim McKinney's going to get over there, and Eric Jackson, Nick Firestone, just to be able to have that experience of going to an amazing event. And again, you get in there, you get comfortable, and you pick up the track quickly. You can find yourself up front. So, yeah, for you, I think you're going to have a good lineup of guys. But the bottom line is they're your guys again. Those are your champions. You're going to the ROK Cup with them. I'm sure you'll be proud seeing those guys go into competition.
Absolutely. I mean, there's always a sense of pride when you see, the drivers that came and supported your series and they earned their way to the championship, and then you get to go support them. I mean, I'm certainly not their mechanic or their marketing guy, but I'll be there to help support them in any way that I can and make sure that they at least have a great time, if not get a great result.
So let's start looking towards 2019. I know that it's still 7 months away, as we said. You're already putting out the bids for dates. Any particular plans that you may have to grow the series? Because we do obviously know that you and I have talked about this many times. A series like the Challenge of the Americas relies on strong regions around the country that run the package you run for guys to be able to come down and race. So we're seeing growth for the ROK Cup program up in NorCal at the Sanzaru Games Series at Sonoma. It's growing slightly and I guess probably consistently down in SoCal as well, now that the ROK obviously running with some of the tag classes that are happening in Southern California. Where else do you see growth, and are there any other plans that you may have to try to get that 10% growth we want to see every year?
Actually, several programs have actually, if you like the Can-Am Karting Challenge, I know, up in the Pacific Northwest. If you look in their class lineup, they're allowing ROK engines for the first time in their class lineup. They're kind of making it a tag program, which is actually great for them to kind of wrap their arms around as many people as possible in that area. ROK the Rockies is slowly getting started. in the Colorado area. I mean, even Phoenix. We have a few folks in Phoenix that have embraced the program, and here we go. Somebody's walking in the front door. So yeah. In addition to the Sonoma and as well as Southern California at the Tri-C program, we're certainly seeing pockets and areas where there's some rock growth that will pay dividends in 2019.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Andy. And with that said, knowing that there is growth, there are opportunities for people to run the rock package in more places, like Colorado, as you said, which is growing slightly. You're going to have the guys growing as well in Florida, and maybe more guys will come over to run with you as well. Are there any specific plans that you have, maybe something new you want to bring to the program?
Well, obviously, one of the newest engine that's come about is the 100cc package. I mean, obviously, once again, Miami has a great package in that price point in that area, and Rock has one as well. I mean, look, neither one of them really invented anything. They just went back to their filing cabinets in 1994 and put a starter on it, right? I mean, a 100cc Reed is certainly not a unique product in the sport of karting, right? But obviously, there was a demand for it. Otherwise, both manufacturers wouldn't have come up with something. So we finally got ours about a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, and I've already sold 15 of the 100s here in Southern California. I mean, we blew through our first shipment of 50, and there's another 50 on the water, and then there's another, I think, 150 or 200 behind that. So that'll be a little bit of growth area. I mean, obviously, as I get back to Tri-C during the heat of the summer and keep working on the rest of the package. But for sure, right now, it seems like the hot ticket as we speak is the 100cc Rock product, the VLR.
So, do you believe that that's a program that you think could be added class structure wise to the challenge for 2019? It's
certainly possible. I mean, if the demand is there. I mean, heck, yep. I've asked Garrett. I mean, we haven't talked about this, but I've asked Garrett if there's enough demand to add it to the Rio program. I mean, obviously, with the 200 or 250 entries that'll be there. I mean, there's room in the schedule to add that product. I mean, if the demand is there, they can add it to the Rock the Rio, and that'll kick off maybe me adding it to my program as well.
Interesting for sure. So again, lots of stuff happening for the Challenge of the Americas for 2019. Again, my guest today, Andy Seesemann from FTK Promotions and Full Throttle Karting. Stick with us, folks. We got more to come here on this Industry Insider after this quick break.
The Rock Cup USA Kart Racing Series is a division of the internationally recognized Rock Cup Racing program powered by the Vortex engine package. The program promotes parity within the classes, and the parent series, Rock Cup, is an FIA-authorized international series with a 15-year history in over 32 different countries. Powered by the Vortex engine platform, Rock Cup USA offers a competitive racing package throughout its promoted series, including the Florida Winter Tour, Rock Festivals, Rock the Rio, Challenge of the Americas, and a flourishing regional club program throughout the United States and multiple Canadian series. All the best rockers from around the world have the opportunity to take part in the prestigious Rock Cup International Final, an international event that crowns global rock champions. In 2017, the Rock Cup International Final had a record number of countries represented, 49 from 5 continents, and saw 415 rockers take to the grid. Rock Cup International Final tickets will be awarded at the Florida Winter Tour, Challenge of the Americas, and the Rock Festival. For more information on Rock Cup USA, please visit www.rockcupusa.com.
After a long, cold winter, summer is fast approaching, so you know what that means. It's time to sign up for Nitro Kart Summer Camp. Our first summer camp last year was a great success, so we're doing it again on June 29th to July 1st at Carolina Motorsports Park. Nick Tucker and guest instructors will teach winning racecraft techniques such as qualifying, race strategy, passing, drafting, and defense driving. And guest experts will discuss subjects such as driver fitness and nutrition, and marketing and sponsorship. We'll also teach the kids basic kart maintenance, and the parents will learn advanced tuning tips. Nitro Kart Summer Camp is for Nitro Kart drivers only, but Arrive and Drive packages are available. We'll have special offers on new Nitro Karts since we know you'll want to buy one if you try one. Space is limited, so go to nitro-kart.com to sign up today.
Hi, this is Ben Mayer, factory Nitro Kart driver number 67. I went to the first Nitro Kart summer camp last year and I loved it. It made me a better driver and it'll make you one too.
Are you looking for a new kart shop? One that treats you like you're an important customer? If so, look no further than Acceleration Kart Racing. At Acceleration, customer service is number one. We are a full-time karting business, not a hobby or an afterthought. We have all the products you're looking for, from kid karts to shifters, safety to speed. We strive to offer our customers the best products, prices, and service. At Acceleration Kart Racing, we're always here when you need something for your racing program. Located in Las Vegas, Acceleration is stocked with a wide range of products. We've been helping racers get the right parts for over 16 years. Acceleration has everything that a kart racer needs, from turnkey karts to safety equipment, engines, and more, stocking all of the leading kart racing brands. Here's a taste of the products that we carry every day. CRG, Tony Kart, Bennett, Rotax, Honda, Miami, MG Tires, Vinco, Bridgestone, Mojo, Alpine Stars, Sparco, Ribtech, and EVS, Tillett, Micron, Alfano, Bell, Arai, Zamp, KG, Sniper, SweetTech, and K&N. It doesn't matter where you live in the country. We will get you what you need so you can get back on the track. Acceleration has a sufficient supply of products to ensure that your order can be shipped the very same day. Our knowledgeable staff is available to help customers 6 days a week, and ordering online is open 24 hours a day at shop8kr.com. For visitors and locals in the Las Vegas area, Acceleration has a large showroom full of the best kart racing products available. Come on in and check it out. To find out more about what Acceleration has to offer, visit shop8kr.com. Again, shop8kr.com. And make sure to sign up to be on our mailing list to receive the latest updates and promotions that we send throughout the season. Again, we're a one-stop shop. shop8kr.com. Welcome back to episode number 6 of the Industry Insider here on the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden. My guest today, Andy Seesemann, the promoter of the Challenge of the Americas through FTK Promotions. But let's start talking full throttle karting, Andy, because we've kind of looked at the challenge a bit and how great you guys did last year, getting out of the box with the new engine package with Rock Cup, some stable numbers all the way through the season with growth actually in the Rock categories. We talked a bit about what we could do for 2019, that there is a potential to add the VLR 100cc Rock engine into the class structure as well. Let's talk Southern California. Let's talk, obviously, full throttle karting's been a major player in terms of a supportive kart club and one of the only brick and mortar shops as well. You actually have a kart shop on a main street with, as we know, an open door, phones that ring.
Yes, exactly. This happened twice already today.
Isn't that an amazing thing that you actually have when you have a brick and mortar, people walk in the door, which is great.
Yes, I'm right on Catella Boulevard, Catella Avenue here in Orange, which is, I have Angel Stadium and about a mile and a half west of me, and another 2 miles past that at Disneyland. So it's not like I'm on a little side street somewhere tucked in a little industrial park. I have a retail shop with actually glass doors and a marquee up front.
That said, so you've been around your trackside as well, of course, at the events for the Tri-C. What is the current focus? What are you focusing on with full throttle karting right now?
The major club that we support is the Tri-C karters. I mean, they do a great job. That's Tri-C really went through a couple of dark years there, and when we jump started, you remember the LO206 Lounge a couple of years ago. We jump started that program. Mike Giles from M2 Power Sportswear and I jump started that program, and we went from having 3 guys running around LO206s to having like 40 or 50. So I mean, it's been great for that club. And it's strange. The psychology of karters are always strange because a number, the club number that the club has to hit to become viable again is 100. I've looked at this 1,000 different ways, like we talked about. I've been around the sport a way, way long time. And Tri-C was down in the 40s or 50s. Once LO206 exploded, All of a sudden, they hit the 100 number, and then the minute they did that, they were up in the 140s. And it's because the guys in the other classes went, oh, they're at 100? Okay, it's a reasonable place for me to go race now. Now, the 100 had nothing to do with tag or shifter or anything else, but it brought those guys in the minute it hit 100. It's amazing how that works, right?
Numbers breed numbers. You want to race against lots of guys.
For sure.
It's true.
So, Tri-C is a great old school club. They wrap their arms around as many people as possible. They have tag classes. They have LO206, 100cc, both with the old school KPV and the new version with the starter on it. So that's the club I support, first and foremost. I mean, obviously, I distribute the tires for Rock on the West Coast, so I'm involved in that. And then, we had a series here for several years called F100, which is really kind of a group of 40 or 50 KPV guys that used to get together on a monthly basis and run. And that program kind of got taken over. It kind of faded and it got taken over by a new group that changed the name and called the Formula Karting Championship. And those guys are focusing on 100cc, the 100cc tag. They have a shifter group. So the Rock shifters available to run in their classes. The VLR 100cc tag is allowed to run. So between that and Tri-C, I have a good club schedule to follow. And then later in the year, I touched on, we have Rock the Rio, and then I go to the Rock Worlds. So, my days are filled for certainly at the racetrack. And then here at the shop, once again, just having a brick and mortar shop, there's still phone calls and people that walk in. I mean, it's people don't walk in and say, build me a cart. I want to go national racing. Here's $100,000. But people still come in and buy product. People still come in and chat about karting, and we still sell some new products, some used product, and get people into the sport.
I like it. Now, you gave us the update. What you're focused on here in 2018. What's your opinion right now of karting in Southern California? You've been around long enough to watch the ebbs and flows. When IKF Region 7 was strong, and then again, as you said, Tri-C Karters was a bit strong, and they had those couple of years where it was just almost down and out, where the point where they considered shutting down. And as you said, the 206 program really brought life back to Tri-C. We've watched the LAKC go from 1.200 and something drivers down to settling in at wherever it is now, 150, whatever it may be. Overall, give me your thoughts on karting in SoCal.
I think it's like everything. You still get pushed and pulled in several different directions. I mean, you have one faction, obviously the SCUSA Pro Kart faction, which is also LAKC. They do a good job. And they have their programs, and then you have a couple of satellite programs. But like we talked about, you have Tri-C and the Formula Karting Championship. I mean, in the wintertime, there was the Willow Springs Karting Club. They had 40 or 50 guys there running. I mean, you still have PAC at Paris that still runs. With 20 or 30. Mostly focused on juniors, but it's certainly not what it was, Rob. I mean, you and I have had this conversation about, like I said, Region 7 was drawn. I mean, in the mid 2000s, Region 7 was drawn 300 entries. Now, that wasn't 300 drivers, but it was still 300 entries. Pro Kart was getting 150. The Gators, my regional program back then, was getting 100, and there were 6 clubs that averaged over 100 a month. So there were well over 1,000 race entries every month, and it wasn't the same 200 guys. It was 700 different karters doing this,
So what do we need? Again, the big difference is there, because regional series are regional series. It's the fact that we don't really have those 6 clubs anymore that have 100 guys coming every one of their races. So
100%.
Is there a possibility of somehow getting those clubs back? Is that Willow? Is the Winter Series on Willow potentially just something that could have a Willow club again? Are you going to see what do we got to do to get the clubs back? I guess is really my thought.
Yeah, we need to make the sport more accessible. I mean, once again, you touched on it a minute ago, the surprise. Well, it, but the fact that I have a brick and mortar shop. How many brick and mortar shops are there anymore? There are. Yeah. It is a dying breed, right? And there's no blame to it. The market asked for a certain experience, and then the businesses supplied it, but then that became the new normal, which has pushed away a lot of the regular Joes that walk in and spend $45 a month on karting. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
And those are the people that made this sport go for years and years and years and years. So, LO206 has certainly done a good job bringing those folks back. To some respect, I think you have the 2-cycle folks look at LO206 and are like, well, that's, the comments that are made, right? But it's like, their butts in seats, man. You gotta get the people in the seats. And I think that's go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say racers are racers. I don't care if you're running a 125cc shifter, a laydown, or a 206 on a quarter-mile track. Karting is karting, and it's different for everybody. I hate when 2-cycle guys look down at 4-cycle racers, because a lot of the best 2-cycle guys came from 4-cycle. You know what I mean? That's where you start.
Ryan Hunter-Reay. I don't know if Ryan Hunter-Reay ever raced a 2-cycle race.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, exactly. Tony Kart with advanced racing engines, I believe, was on the side of that thing. Yeah, you're right. And a lot of guys did that. The bottom line is the 4-cycle program that's the ease of entry.
Yep.
That's the best way to get into the sport. $4,000, $5,000 brand new package, and that means $2,000. You look online or on the EKN classifieds, we're seeing $1,500, $2,000 complete, ready to go carts. That's
for sure.
That allows someone to get in the sport easily.
I just hope you don't see the one that got stolen out of my shop a couple weeks ago.
I was going to talk about that. It was a sore subject. You got a couple carts stolen.
The bottom line is, at least for me, so the tie-in for me is, I think that the Rock 100 has the ability to then wrap its arms around another type of customer. The people that, for whatever reason, don't want to do LO206 but want to get into karting. That a package that's less than $1,600, you can put it on a used go-kart. You're still talking about that same $3,000 or $4,000 package at this point. Right?
Yep. Yeah. And
it's only $600 more than an LO206 at this point. So to be able to do that, bolt it on and go run, I think it will draw more people in. I think this will help for sure, and then it'll wrap its arms around the folks that are still, as the KPVs and the Yamahas are really, really drying up for whatever reason. It gives those folks another avenue to kind of keep racing.
Well, it is that, we talk about the different levels. So 206, price level, speed level. You look at the 100cc, price level, speed level, 125 liquid cool tag, it's price level, speed level. It's, you got to pay to go faster. And that gap between a 206 and a tag, an X30, a Rock Cup, whatever it may be, it's a big jump. It's a big jump in everything, right? Whether it's speed and temp. I mean, and price. It's expensive. It's a big jump.
And that circles right back around to about where we talk about where karting is now, right? The minute that tag, and I was a part of it, the minute that the tag, whether it be Rotax, X30, Rock GP, etc., Leopard, the minute that became the de facto entry-level package, man, that's when the sport started to dry up, because the cost and the speed was too much it's too much for half the people I see at the track, let alone people trying to get into the sport.
Andy, I'm sure you have this experience as well. One of the best examples I have is talking to Eric Jones at Kart Sport North America. Of course, their shop right at GoPro Motorplex, they have a ton of people going through their rental programs. And Eric would tell me that people would come out, they'd spend $100 and something on the rentals, be pumped up and say, man, I want to race these things. And they'd get into the kart shop and I just spent $100. How much does that cost?
Yeah.
And it was an Arrow with a Leopard on it. Well, race ready with everything and a data acquisition system. That's $10,000.
Yeah.
And the guy just looks at you like, whoa, or there's not a chance.
Yeah.
And that we lost a customer because at that point we weren't able to say, hey, this thing here, this used package is $2,000.
Yep.
And now one of the big reasons why at GoPro they added in the 206. They went 206. It brought a lot of people in. They get great numbers for their club races. In fact, it's probably one of the bigger clubs in the country right now. Because of that reason, they're able to get someone out of a rental cart into a cheaper, more affordable 4-cycle.
Yep, 100%.
All right, Andy. Any other thoughts right now? Looking forward to the rest of 2018 and 2019.
Well, like I said, my schedule's between the two folks that I support, and then getting ready to go to Italy, go to Vegas, and then challenge planning. I mean, it's weird. My off season is really this time of year. It's
right.
How my planning goes. It's weird how my schedule is so offset. It's being like I'm off pit cycle. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But things I want to look at in the future. I mean, obviously there's been some demand. There's been a lot of talk for me to do we need a full summer series for the Rock, and I'm like, okay, calm down. We need to grow this, but we need to grow it properly. So I am looking in 19 maybe to add a short summer program, 3 or 4 races. I don't know. It just depends on where it fits in, right? There's a lot going on. And just jamming stuff in the schedule for the sake of jamming it in makes no sense to anybody. But I think there is a demand, because that was always the concern, especially when I did Rotex, as well. The challenge ended, and then we don't get anything till the Nationals. What do I do during the summer with this thing besides go club racing? And there's still people that want to go to a little bit higher level event. So I don't know. I'm looking at ways to fit in a summer program next year. We'll see how it pans out. I had folks tell me I should have done it this year, and I tell them they're all crazy. I mean, that would have been that. It's too early. I mean,
agreed. Yeah. I think that would have been it would have been overkill. You might have oversaturated what you had.
We get people on Facebook that say we need. I tell you, we get out. They say, "Oh, we needed a summer series this year. We need a series in Southern California." And I said, "There's a series at Sonoma where you can race your rock 8 times. There's Tri-C, you can race it 8 times. I ran the challenge within 8 hours of my home base here. There were 3 races, and there's Rock de Rio. There's 20 races that you could run your Rock GP or your Rock Shifter." And then that doesn't even include the Formula Karting Championship. So, 28 races? How many more do you really need?
True.
Right now?
That's it. Yeah. Get out there and support an event that's already running.
Yeah, just support it, and we'll figure it out. And like I said, I'm looking at, trying to figure out if we can fit something in next year. And if the demand is there, we'll be talking to some teams and customers over the next 3-4 months and figure out if it's a viable option. And if it is, we'll do it.
There's good insight for you. Andy Seesemann, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
No problem, Rob. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and maybe someday you'll stop by. We can go to Salty Dog.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Mm-hmm. There you go, folks. Andy Seesemann from FTK Promotions, Full Throttle Karting, and, of course, the Challenge of the Americas. This has been the 6th episode here in 2018 of the Industry Insider. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye for now.